Hi guys, I'm Spencer Ma. I've been out of high school for 2 years now, and during this time I haven't secured any full-time jobs. I haven't done an ounce of university, but instead I've come back to this beautiful Bible school, Cape Breton Harbor, for a leadership training program called LTS. And boy oh boy do I have some exciting things to share with you guys. LTS is a program at Cape Breton Harbor which gives people the opportunity to be an example of godly living to others. In everyday living, the LTS students walk alongside other students to point them to Jesus. This program also focuses on the learning style of leadership that Jesus showed when he was on earth, and that was leading by serving. The really interesting thing about Jesus was that he had all this power in the world, and he could have abused it by exalting himself over other people, but instead he did the complete opposite. He humbled himself by washing his disciples' feet. He would reach out to the outcast, and he was fully obedient to God. And what's really countercultural about that is that in today's society we see a leader as someone who's really smart, they're persuasive, and they're really assertive. And when I came here for this program, I thought I was going to learn those things and become like the Wolf of Wall Street. But to my surprise, I found that godly leadership is simply about humbling yourself before God and others, marinating in his presence, and serving people out of his love. That's a leader. That's how Jesus led others. And it's not about you being an alpha male or female. It's about emptying those parts of you and allowing God to guide you in leading others. Learning to lead and serve as Jesus did meant giving up what I valued most for him, and that was time and money. Before this year, I was super stingy with both of those, and I was very protective of both. I hated it when I thought it was being wasted by others. But the closer I got with Jesus this year, I noticed that following him demanded me to sacrifice those things more and more. I'd say my biggest takeaway from Bible school this year was that I'm not the owner of my resources, and that everything I think I own actually belongs to God. Instead, I'm to be a good steward of my resources, which means to hold them out with an open hand and not a closed hand, and at the same time investing them and using them well for his kingdom. This meant giving up weeks of free time to work on a magic show to share Christ to others, donating money to someone who needs it more than me, or taking the time to go on a quality walk with someone instead of sleeping in. Most of those acts of giving and investing I really didn't want to do, but when I took those steps of faith, the fruit and goodness I saw come out of it was worth every sacrifice. And it's really freeing knowing that you don't need to have a death grip and hawkeye on your resources, because it really isn't yours. The King of the universe knows best what to do with it, and he will always supply you with enough. And all this I really can't take any credit for, because it's all the work of Jesus Christ, who is alive today. It was life-changing seeing that when you give to God out of faith, he turns it into something you'd never even expect. And when you realize that these things don't belong to you and they belong to God, it's so freeing knowing that you don't have to be stressed about how much you have, because you can be content with just the littlest things in life. See, that's the beauty of following Jesus, is that he will call you to give up everything for him, but in exchange he gives you a new life which is way more valuable than what you gave up in the first place. And he promises us in Luke 9:24, whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. For years I was searching for satisfaction in life through pleasure after pleasure, but nothing ever really worked and nothing was ever enough. But when I took my faith seriously and gave my life to Jesus, I was no longer left hungry or thirsty for anything, because he was enough for everything. And he even promises that in John 6:35. He says, whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never go thirsty. And this was one of the many Bible verses that I read on paper, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then when I actually started taking it seriously and surrendered my life, I got to see words on paper come to life and become reality, and that was really cool. Not just in my own life, but others too. When I came here, I was looking for logical and scientific evidence that Christianity was true. And those things partially convinced me, and instead of finding science, Jesus instead showed me life. I walked alongside people losing their addictions, I saw and heard miracles happening, and I saw prayers get answered. And if you got to know some of my friends right now, you wouldn't believe what they used to be like before. They are completely different human beings after meeting Jesus. And I got to witness that process. Watching lives go from darkness to light was really what sold me and made me say, wow, Christianity really is true and it's worth following. I was introduced to all of this in my first year, and I'm forever thankful that God brought me here to experience all of it again. Like I said in my first year video, you don't need to go to the same Bible school to experience everything I experienced, because the Jesus I met and saw here is the same here and everywhere, and his power isn't limited to this one place. It doesn't matter how many addictions you have, how much you've cussed, or how immoral you've been, because Jesus' love and grace outweighs all of that, and when you approach him, there is zero condemnation and zero judgment for your actions. He's alive, he's everywhere, and he's waiting for you to hit him up. So after dedicating 2 years of my life to discovering who this Jesus guy is and whether he's legit, I can wholeheartedly say that he is, and he's worth following, and he's worth your everything. So yeah, keep smiling, don't do drugs, eat lots and lots of ice cream, and you guys have a nice day. I'm gonna go play with those geese over there.